Hi everyone, welcome back to Newcastle Fans TV, and we have a secret Newcastle fan with us at the moment, Mr. Dan Lawless. Dan, who's showed me a while back that he used to support Newcastle as a youngster. Isn't that right, Dan?
Yeah. I can't remember what kit I was wearing for it. It was the blue kit, which I did like the blue kit.
It's not this one.
The yellow. That one, it weren't the one with the cut. I had the one with the black and white with the blue trim. I had that one. The black and white with the blue trim, the whole blue kit with the Newcastle brown out and the yellow training kit. So it could have been either one of them. But yeah, that was it. That was Newcastle. And then I was like, no, Newcastle are getting a bit too good. They're starting to get in the Champions League. Time to support West Ham. So
yeah, support your local team. Right, well, Dan, thank you very much for coming on. If you still don't know who Dan Lawless is, he's been on the channel loads of times, home and away. It's normally one of the other team thumps one another, but this time we've got a draw to talk about. So go over to West Ham Fan TV for all their reactions on their side as well. You might see my pretty little face over there. But Dan, I want to jump straight into it. David Moyes, were you happy with your lineup?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, like I was happy. Like obviously, that's the starting lineup that beat Chelsea. The only difference I would have made is maybe either put Lanzini in the middle and start Yarmolenko, or take Fornal, or take Lanzini off and put Yarmolenko on for Fornals. I would like to see Yarmolenko start. He looked hungry when he came on against Chelsea, but overall, I thought decent lineup. I was happy with it overall.
And who were you scared of Newcastle? It was probably saint-maximin, wasn't it?
Yeah, like that was the big one because obviously, look, you guys came to our ground earlier in the season, and it was the turning point for me for Pellegrini. This is the point where the Newcastle game was the game I wanted Pellegrini out in because it was so obvious. He chose to play flipping Zabaleta, 34, 35-year-old Zabaleta against saint-maximin, and it's just like, yeah, anyone could have seen it coming, and he ran him ragged. It was a tough game. Obviously, we almost came back into it, but you guys won. And he was who I was worried about. We had Creswell on the left because I was hearing he could be switched up over to it on the right wing. Fredericks is a bit faster. We had him on the right wing, and he was someone I was definitely looking out for. Andy Carroll was the big player I was worried about. And I knew he probably wouldn't be starting, but it was one of them things. If you could prophesize something happening, Andy Carroll scoring against West Ham, that was what I was terrified of, even when he came on in the game.
Why, you thought it was going to be written in the stars just to pull ahead of one?
Every West Ham fan was calling it. Like, Andy Carroll's nailed on to score against us today. And when it was 2-2, when I see him coming, I was like, don't you dare. Don't you dare score against us. Like, after everything, after all the times out injured. And thankfully, it didn't happen. I would have been fuming if he had scored.
He would have run off and done his Angel of the North celebration, as he normally does. Right, Dan, let's crack on with it because you've got off to an absolute flyer. Jamal Lascelles, from our point of view, Dan, first of all, he's all over the place. His footwork, and Mikel Antonio, who I've said it on your channel in the past as well, I'm really impressed by him. And 6 yards out, he's not going to miss from there, and it blasts it past Dubravka. But do you look at that as part of that's a good West Ham goal, or is that our fault?
I think it's a bit of both because I thought the build-up to that goal I thought was very good from Fornals. Bowen played it on nicely, but it's like Antonio seemed to have too much time. You know, that goes past Lascelles. I thought Lascelles was very, very poor. He should have sort of caught it out, dealt with it quicker. But it's like Antonio had time to stop, look at the goal, and go, "Yep, I'll stick that in the back of the net. Thank you very much." So yeah, I think I'm happy with how we built up to that goal, but yeah, I think you guys should not be happy with how Lascelles dealt with that.
Yeah, it was an awful, but I think I've seen this as a positive because we had so much of the game to go, and actually it kind of woke it up a little bit. Shelby was starting to get on the ball. We're starting to, I mean, we weren't having killer cut chances, don't get me wrong, but we're getting on the ball. We're getting that final third, and we weren't seeing the best of saint-maximin today, and I don't think he had his greatest game. And him and Joe Linton were switching wings, and Bruce was trying to get them on the ball. But we did get that equaliser, and it was a nice build-up play from our right-hand side. And you're probably going to look at it as that no one's picking up Miggy's run. And is it Agbonna who doesn't pick him up?
Yeah, it's like Ogbonna. Yeah, that was one. I mean, you see it there. He should have caught that ball out. He should have picked him up, and that's the problem. We saw it a few times where they're ball watching, rather than watching that who's behind them, who's coming up, who's making a run. Because there was another point, might have been just before that where you guys nearly went and caught us out on that, or even just after. So yeah, I mean, I was fuming, let's be honest. But yeah, you guys made it 1-1 very quickly. So yeah, disappointing at that point.
Yeah, the recurring theme with coming back dead quickly. But we're going into half time, and I thought it's pretty even. I think it's anyone's game, this one. And
you had a large spell on top, I think, just after that goal. It's sort of like the momentum shifted to you guys. I
think the drinks break stopped it. I think that stopped it for us, where we were on a spell for a good 20 minutes, and that drinks break killed it for us. Why are they having a drinks break in Newcastle? It's never above 17 degrees up here ever. So
I was hoping that if they'd just had that before you scored, I don't think that goal happens. If they had that just a little bit early before you guys got the goal, then it stops that momentum, and I think we go in 1-0 up. But yeah, the drinks break, you're right. I think it did kill it, and I was glad for it.
Anyone's in the second half. I didn't think the second half was entertaining as the first half, but we kind of defend set pieces. It's one of our weaknesses, and Declan Rice and Souček, I've been quite impressed with the last two games. Obviously, he scored in the last two games as well. And Declan Rice bullets it off the header, off the crossbar, and it comes back to Souček. And he fires home. From a defensive point of view, Lascelles, again, maybe get tighter, but it's just all about reactions. And he fires it home. And by this point, when you went 2-1 up, Dan, do you think, this is ours, this?
Do you know what? I was celebrating it like this could be it. This, as a West Ham fan, you've always got it in the back of your mind like it could go wrong. But I was just so happy. Like 2-1, this is it. Momentum shifting our way. I really thought we'd done enough. Like I was still celebrating our goal when you got the other end, and that's how quick it was. I was still buzzing. I was still celebrating. I was so bad. Like, I'm still annoyed about it, to be honest.
Yeah, you've just mentioned it at the top there. It didn't take long. It was 60 seconds, 90 seconds. And it was a case of, I think your defense was like looking at the linesman thinking, wait a minute, he's offside. But we've seen the replays back, and it looked like Pablo Fornells, on the out. He was basically keeping everybody on side, and Shelvey obviously is a West Ham lad, isn't he? And Gale touches onto him, and Shelvey puts a bottom corner. I think defensively, I think you've got to play at the whistle, though, haven't you, Dan?
Oh, absolutely. Like, so poor from us. I mean, a lot of West Ham fans were talking about Shelvey before the game and how he likes to turn up against us. And listen, if I'm Shelvey and I'm a West Ham, I'm saying this as a fan. Like, I might just miss that, But he's a professional. Obviously, sticks it in the back of the net, and I think Fornells is the one screaming the most for the offside, and he's the one playing him on, which is the thing that made me laugh. But yeah, I was so pissed because, like I said, I was still celebrating, still buzzing, and it goes in the back of it. I'm like, what? And mate, I just lost it at that point. So gutting, and we were so close. But yeah, it was tough. And again, I thought after that, I thought that there could be a winner. I didn't really, at that point, I didn't expect it to be a draw. I thought a team was either one of us would go on to score a winner at that point. Just
before the Shelby goal, I thought you were going to go and win it because we don't normally score many goals. We have a late in the lockdown period. We've looked a lot better, and we're 5 or 6 now unbeaten in the Premier League, which is a little bit unheard of. Which obviously we're going to be safe. I want to talk about your position in a minute, but I felt like you ended the game more strongly because there was a lot of corners coming in, a lot of set pieces. No real clear chance, I don't feel, from your end. However, it was probably you shaded it towards the end of the game. But do you feel a point is fair?
Yeah, I mean, over the grand course of the game, like, I'm massively disappointed to not come out with 3 points, and I feel like we really could have done, especially towards the end. Like I said, we started to, once Yarmolenko come on, we started to create a few more chances, and maybe not completely clear cut. I mean, we forced quite a good save. I think Yarmolenko had a really, cracking shot, and keeper makes a good save at the end of it. But overall, like, when I looked at Chelsea and Newcastle, I would have been well happy with 4 points from those two games. So at the end of it, like, you guys are on good form. So you have to look at it as a good point. It's just harder. Like, if it had been the other way around and you guys went ahead and we'd come back both times, I would have had a much more positive spin on it. But in the grand scheme of the season, I think, yeah, it is a good point at the end of it to come up to you guys when you're on form and get the point. But yeah, again, conflicted.
Yeah, because you scored twice in front, didn't you? But you look at your position in the league table now, and please God, Villa go down, please. Dan, you probably might not know, but Newcastle fans don't get on with Villa fans. So I would like you to stay up, and I have said that. I want you to stay up, and I think you will. But I would love Villa to go down. I don't even care if I get hate for that, because Aston Villa sob on the time banners when we went down. I would love it if they went down. Yeah. Bournemouth can clear off because it's the other end of the country. Norwich is a nightmare to get to because it's full of farm fields. London's not too bad. At least it's one road down Newcastle. But yeah, are you just going to stay up? Because I think you as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, as we record this, Villa trailing at Anfield 1 goal down. So they're losing to Aston Liverpool. Aston Villa losing to Newcastle with not much time to go. So that is massive for us. Like I said, that puts us with 4 points clear of the drop, with a far better goal difference. And we've got a much better run of games to come. They've got Man United next, who are in top form. Bournemouth have got some really scary games, and we've got Burnley, we've got Norwich, and we've got Watford still to play, and Aston Villa last game of the season. So a couple of games ago, like, I was really, crapping myself. Now I'm feeling a lot more confident, and I just want it to be done and just relax and then deal with whatever crap we have to deal with next season.
I think you'll be fine. And hey, the next time we chat, Dan, we could be billionaires. And you could be envy of all of us. Who knows? I'm wishful thinking if we can get Mike Ashley out of this club. But Dan, I want to thank you very much for coming on Newcastle Fans TV once again.
Yeah, mate. It's, like I said, it seems like it's been a long time, mate, and it is good to be back on. Good to chatting to you. And like I said, all things looking good. We should be chatting next season as Premier League clubs, both either with awful owners or without awful owners. Time will tell.
Thanks, Dan.